John, if you're giving them some advice, kind of right now, at point in time where they're at, what would it be? Because you were at the Athletic when the Athletic was coming up. It's you were one of the original people there, and it's coming up through this path. What kind of advice would you give them from your experience?
Well, my advice, I mean, I would have said, and I did talk to Kevin a little bit and talk about this stuff. They're doing a lot of these meetups at bars all over the place. Now, if they're getting paid for that, that's great, or if like a sponsor's paying for it. But like otherwise, we tried to do that a little bit, and we found it's kind of a waste of time. Like unless you're like RSVPing and you're doing like I think for their draft, Impulse draft, they had a really nice crowd, and I think they might have done RSVPing. But like if you're doing that, that's the way to do it. If you're just telling people to meet you at a bar to watch a game, that's especially these teams suck so bad. That's kind of a waste of your. I think it's a waste of everyone's time. To be honest,
tough to get people out too. Yeah,
it is. It's tough. It really. We figured that. We found that out. We're like, oh, people love to go out. It'll be easy. No, it's not.
Right.
I would say writing wise, and I'm kind of surprised they never did more like longer features. Because we figured out that we were trying to do too much of everything at first, and then we figured out like, oh yeah, people are going to subscribe because they're selling subscriptions. People are going to subscribe for the big features, and or for like the analysis of your really in-depth stuff that you're not going to get anywhere else. Now, they don't really do that, and they just have their beat writers kind of, obviously chiming in on their podcast. They have to do all that and just kind of basic stories. Not saying the writers are basic at all, but just like. They're not doing like the big in-depth features. I would spend more time on that, but that doesn't seem to be their plan. So they're they got their own ideas.
That's interesting. I never thought of it that way because a lot of people are kind of racing to be first, just say something real quick and get as many clicks as possible. But you're right, they're selling subs, and for a sub, you really want to get something. You want to get more meat. I guess you would say.
That's how we realized that. Like we understood it, but we didn't realize it. Like that's what I talk about with like our owner, the guys who founded it. Like one of them, especially, he and I were talking about. I'm like, that's what we really wish we would have realized at the beginning. That's all we focus on instead of trying to like, have this many stories a day or like like you said, jumping first on things. Like unless you can really be first on something, but like be first on something in like a substantial manner,
right?
Or like
you're breaking the story, not you're the first to react to it. That's
or you do something where they hire someone that's going to just break news, and then what that does is it gets your name up there on the bottom line. Like if they hired, let's say they hired Shams away from us, and you have Shams breaking news for all city for all the teams, and then people have to credit him everywhere. That's like content and it's marketing. So they've got Mark Stein now in Dallas. I wonder if Mark Stein used to be a pretty good newsbreaker as well as a writer. So I wonder if they're going to have Stein do that for the NBA and break news that has to get credited to all city. And then you've got people going to your site more. It brings it in mind, right? It brings it to mind. So I think that would be I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.